Nothing like a good day in the office. Yes, FireWall 0 Hour is available right now on the PSN network for free as a trial if you own the PS4 and a PSVR. So please try it out. That's the first thing I get out of the way. It's a free trial and that's where this version of the test is coming from. I did ask for a review copy, unfortunately wasn't able to get one at the time, but now with this free trial I do get a chance to enjoy what the game offers up and how good it is in VR. The first thing is, this is essentially Rainbow Six, way back with a great game that I used to play hours and hours, months of online, back on the original Xbox. I absolutely love that game. Absorbing my time, making friends, and just playing competitively and cooperatively online was one of the big draws of the game. It really made everyone work together as a team on such brilliant maps as Garage. But you don't get that kind of online camaraderie as often in modern multiplayer shooters. But here with Firestorm, we're seeing a very similar delivery of that. It really does bring me right back to how that game worked out. Obviously your mileage may vary depending on the lobby and the teams you play with, but once you get a good one, and it's quite often that you do, everyone plays together, talks, communicates and collaborates to win the match. Or even when you're out, you use the camera system to jump around and save your squad mates to still try and win the overall game. And it does happen. People really do play and play together as a team, and it works excellently. There's a real sense of drama as you work through the lobby, looking out, covering each other's back, turning around, and it just feels really exciting to play, just like back in those Rainbow Six, but ramped up to that high level with all the detail and immersion that VR can only bring. And again, I'm showing you flat 2D images here, so it's the best I can do, but there's not a lot I can do to show you how good it works in the headset. There is a lot of motion here, and obviously you have to get used to using the sticks and your head and not using the left stick to move as you would in a normal first-person shooter. And that can take some time to get used to. I made a few errors every now and then, rather than moving my head and the controller. It doesn't support the move controls, which is a shame. It does support the DualShock and obviously the PSVR aim, which I don't have, but that would make it a lot better because it would feel more consistent as holding a gun and aiming. So you have to move the DualShock around and try and aim with your hands. So that makes it slightly more difficult than it would be with the aim controller, I'm sure, but it still works well. And you can actually bring it right up and look down the sights, so you can use that or just hip fire as you storm through the battles. It uses inverse kinematics well with the 3D models moving around the gun, obviously your hands. You can play around with this in the game itself or in the lobby, which you can see. The sickness level is reasonably high. There's lots of lateral movement, forward movement, up and down stairs. There is a lot of movement here. You do get used to it, but like all VR games, I always recommend play for about 30 to 45 minutes maximum before you come out and have a break. Otherwise, you could end up bringing up your breakfast or lunch. Imagine Rainbow Six, but in a VR environment, and it works brilliantly. Now, the overall delivery of the game is quite similar to that. You basically storm in, grab a laptop and the data, or you defend a laptop and the data, and 4v4 squads just basically run in and out. You can play offline or online. You've got bots in some of the training modes. You can train online with other people as well, get used to the process. And as you obviously improve your quality, you rank up. And as you rank up, you can then create custom classes, buy extra weapons, which is all in-game currency. There's no DLC or, loot boxes here. You just earn the points, buy the weapons, and upgrade your visual avatar with the camo on your guns, or the guns themselves, the barrels, the optics, the silencer, additional weapons, frag grenades, stun grenades, blockers, or at least jammers for the laptop themselves. So people, when they come into the room, they have to listen to the jammer beeping, and then you can find it, destroy it, and then you can actually hack the laptop. So there's a lot of tactical elements that are added into the game itself. Using all these additional elements in the title, it can add lots of creativity to the matches. You can bring enemies into the room by laying a landmine or a jammer, and it means you haven't got to sit around in one place, let them come to you and kill them without firing a shot. And that, again, like I say, adds a lot of elements to the game itself, and the tactical element is the biggest draw. If you're playing with people online that don't speak, it will be a very different kettle of fish.
Oh, they're just there.
Friendly down. 3 remaining.
Cheers.
There's one down in there, but there's one coming round you, so watch to the right, you guys. Yeah, that's it, flank them. They're still, oh, he's revived him, watch out. They're both. That's it. You've got one guy actually coming round towards you now, Skull. That will be to the right. Are you downstairs now, yeah? Yeah, that's cool. Try and move it. Good. Good shot, man.
Friendly down. 2 remaining.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's VR only, and it does run on PS4 and PS4 Pro, and there is obviously a difference between the two. So the first thing is resolution. The actual base PS4 version itself is sub HD. It runs at 1600 by 900p from my counted sections here, so that's a decent resolution, but you can certainly see some of those aliasing and shimmer in lots of elements. It uses a temporal AA element on top of this to smooth out and improve the image quality as you move, but with lots of gloss, high specular reflections, and lots of cube maps in the title, which are used abundantly for the reflections in mirrors, specular surfaces, metal floors, metal doors, even the marble floor. You can see the reflective surfaces and objects. There's no SSR here, but it uses these cube maps to reflect both the scenery itself and obviously the specular elements for the lighting, which looks impressive and good in the headset, certainly even on the PS4 Pro, but you can see some of that shimmer and sub-pixel breakup of movement. When it's pressed right up, eyes close to the optics, it stands out much more on the PS4 than it does on the PS4 Pro. Even the hood itself and the bars are a 1600 by 900, which again can add a little bit more shimmer and elements when you're looking at a game like this, but in the heat of action it's not really something that jumps out at you, and it certainly looks good and impressive on the base machine, but the Pro offers an addition and a boost over that.
Hostile down. Hostile KIA. Hostile KIA.
In terms of pixel count, I'm obviously limited to 1080p here, but on the Pro that's what it tops out at. But looking at the image quality in the headset, I'm inclined to think it's actually slightly higher than that. Maybe not 1440, but maybe slightly above 1080p to give a slightly sharper and cleaner image. I also lean to the fact that the temporal AA is slightly better on the Pro. It certainly looks a lot cleaner, and there's certainly a lot more elements where you can see it working its magic to improve the image quality and that sub-pixel breakup. And it's a much cleaner looking title in the PS4 Pro than it is in the PS4, but both versions look good, and there's no visual elements that I'm seeing missing here from both versions, so it's really just the resolution difference. Now, performance-wise, again, this is a VR title, so it does need to perform pretty high, and it does that. Again, it's 120Hz or 120 FPS in the headset, and all the camera tracking and the viewing from your headset is done at 120Hz, likely using the interpolation or the time warping element to give a smooth and clean image. But the actual game itself, the animation and the movement, is actually running at 60Hz, half that frame rate. This is quite common for many PSVR titles, and that's identical on both the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. So you wouldn't really notice this, and obviously we're limited here on YouTube to 60 FPS, but you can see the element when you move the camera, your head moves smoothly at 120, so you don't get that sickness from lateral movement or walking around, but the actual animation itself, other characters in the game, the lobbies, and moving through the world itself is not running at 120, but it's half that at 60 FPS. So you don't really notice it in the headset. Like I say, you'd have to be looking for it, but if you stand still and watch people move, you can see that it's at half movement compared to how you move your head, but it still feels good. And again, you need 120Hz for movement, otherwise you would be returning your lunch pretty quickly and dropping out of VR in seconds. So it's a high requirement, and it delivers that overall. There's no point me showing you frame rate analysis here, because it's just going to run at 120 and drop down to 60 based on if I move my head or not. So it is consistent, it is smooth, I didn't see any issues in there, but again, many titles use this split between 120 and 60 to keep the performance high and the visual quality as high as possible on limited hardware such as these consoles, but it does an exceptional job overall. Visually, it's very convincing. Now, audio-wise, it all adds up to the fact that you've got loads of people talking in the lobby, getting used to that communication, and actually hearing objects. The 3D, the three-dimensional sound effect in the game is not only impressive, but key, because if you can't hear where people are shooting and coming from, you actually can't pinpoint where they are. And again, if you can hear the jammer, that's the most important thing. Walking around the room where the laptop is, you have to listen out for the beeping of the jammer. Once you find it, you can shoot it, destroy it, and then actually unlock the laptop and win the match. In terms of the sound quality, there's great atmospheric music kicking in to give you a little bit more drive to win the match, and the sound effects and the gunshots and the explosions all work perfectly and sound meaty enough to convince.
Friendly down.
Yeah.
3 remaining.
Right, he's seen me, so he's moving out. He's not going anywhere.
Can I spectate cameras?
There he is. He's coming in. He's coming in.
Okay. Guys, there's 2 of them at the door with Taco. There's 2 at the door next to Taco. They've come through the door.
I would like to see more modes in the PvP section. There's really only the one, which is basically defend the laptop from the enemy incoming or seek the laptop from the enemy defending. It's a great mode and it works exceptionally well, but I would like to see additional modes on there. Maybe an MVP mode where you have to protect somebody and get them through from one point to another. Something just to spice up the gameplay if you're playing for long periods of time, but again, there is that limitation here in VR. There is more variety in the training sections and the offline sections, multiple enemies coming in, working as a team, so that does add that additional value where 4 just versus bots does work, but I would like to see a few more maps and a little more elements in the title for the £25 asking price, which is still, I think, a good value for the title that it is, but it really needs a few more game types and modes to bump that value up a little further. But if you are on the market for something Rainbow Six online competitive shooter, there's probably nothing on the market right now that's better than Firestorm 0 Hour, and that really is the biggest pat on the back that I can give the title overall. Give it a try at the weekend in the EU or the US. I think you just need PSN and that's all you need to give it a go. It is a fun game. Maybe for £15 it would be absolutely highly recommended. For $25 I do think it's a little steep for what you get, but it's a great game, but that VR sickness legs is going to affect you, so it's hit and miss whether or not you can last as long or as short as I do. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this look at another VR title, and again, if you like this or anything else, please like, subscribe and share where it's appropriate. I'll catch you in the next one.
Oh, on me! Shoot him!
Right, down here, man. There's one down here. Which are we coming?
Friendly down. Friendly down. Two remaining.
Oh shit, man! What is going on?